Is on deck.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Natasha Madison. I was born in Austin, Texas in 1977 at the old Brackenridge Hospital. I'm here for enough reasons that I'll say many reasons, and it's to represent people who are not here today. Maybe take a look around the room and see what you see. Some of these things don't look like the others. And I'm here to say that, it's kind of funny, but also because I want everybody to start to take into consideration that this is not my level of subject matter expertise. I've had to Google my way through ABCD code 3705, and the terminology is not familiar. The concepts aren't necessarily familiar, but I see the effects, in which case I'm a concerned citizen. I'm an advocate for the citizens in Central East Austin who need advocacy with mitigating the most basic need shortages: housing, food, transportation, access to health care. And so I'm learning alongside my clients what all this actually means. And so anecdotally, I'd like to tell you a story about how my dad was a barefoot bluegrass musician in Arkansas in the 60s with a giant afro, and that didn't fly. So he and my mother found solace in Austin, Texas, where it welcomed wacky artists and intellectuals who wanted to live a life that seemed ideal in rural Arkansas but could be possible in Austin, Texas. And they bought this beautiful little pier and beam, 800 square feet, piece of junk bungalow, but it was theirs. And the yard looks exactly the same today. The house looks exactly the same today. But that house that my pop spent $41,000 on just sold for $485,000. It's still 800 square foot, and it's still the singular house on this lot. So what I'm learning about density, about these concepts that I wasn't familiar with before, is there are 4 families that could live on that lot. Now, one, I won't call them greedy, but I will say, because of how it exists today, people are allowed to waste land. I worked for very wealthy people for a long time, and I got to watch them live in 13, 14, 15,000 square foot houses, and they really only occupied maybe 1,200 square foot of the house. It was just a waste, so wasteful. And the person in me who's concerned about sustainability is dialing into this argument and this conversation. The person who advocates for folks in Central East Austin is dialing into this conversation. And I keep Googling my way through the terminology, but it sure would be great if more people who don't look like the others had access to this conversation because it wasn't so technical. Every room I go to, I'm either the only person who looks like me or one of 2 or 3. And so I can go back and disseminate the information all I want, but if I'm learning at the same time they are, I'm not really a reliable source. So maybe we could make it more accessible in general. Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Mary Engel is next, and Daniel Keishet is on deck.